It's a great chance for council to receive a whole lot of information. So the council has an opportunity to look at what's happened, look at any research that's done, look at any surveys that's done, understand the community's feedback, understand their own feedback that they've received, and then set a direction for the next 4 years against a principle of doing what we can to make the lives of the community better. Well, there are a lot of really interesting positives, I think. So some of them were that the community really rates our facilities and our services. So some really good improvements and also good recognition of all the things that the council has done over the last few years. On the other side, common theme around traffic and traffic management, parking and the like. Some of that came out again. The bus tour was meant to provide the councillors a real opportunity to see all the things that are happening across the city. It wasn't meant to dress it up and say, look at all these great areas and places, albeit that there are many of those, but it also to address issues that we face. Some of those relate to dump rubbish as an example. I think for a few of them, the growth in the city really surprised them. The extent of the growth, how far it extends to, and then what happens as a consequence of it. Like everyone else, particularly for the councillors, they come on board and they want to do everything for everyone. A lot of times that's balanced with the reality of which services, what we can do, and about our ability to raise enough revenue to be able to do those things. So we can have enough money, we can have enough people, but how do we ensure we get the right outcome? It's not one answer. All there is a lot of ideas, a lot of need, a lot of service provision, and how that gets balanced with everything else that we do day in and day out. We provided the councillors with an update on the 3 major projects. So with the Broadmeadows Town Hall, we're pretty well gone through the permit planning stage and the concept design stage. We're at the point now of putting those out and seeing where we go with a tender. With the Sunbury GLC, we actually presented our first plans of what the building might look like. That was the first time that they got viewed by the council and indeed by many of the officers there. And at Splash, we went to the site, had a look at it. We got an update from John and Peter. Progress is happening. The roof's nearly on to most of the building. The roof gets on, we can start to work and complete that project as well. The overall themes will be as they are, but I think the actions will change a bit with councillors having a view about how we might improve things. But in terms of the overarching themes about creating spaces for people, making the place safer, getting the community involved, creating jobs and learning, providing greater amenity and greater leadership or better leadership, those things are pretty front and centre for the council. What might change is how we apply that. I think it's going to be interesting times. For us in the last 4 years, because of different impacts, Sunbury out of Hume and other things, we have gone about doing things on a fairly routine year-by-year basis. So for me, it was the first time in, I'd say, 6 to 8 years where there's been a real push to address the types of things that will make a real difference to the community. My words, and everyone hears me say this, there's a truckload of stuff that the councils have put together. So our job is to try and condense that to a level where there's similarities, put those together, put a 4-year program out in a matrix, because I love matrices, and against that say this is when we think we might be able to achieve it. For all of us, there are incredible opportunities to get involved with, I think, some really good long-term planning that will set us in a right direction. And essentially, in 4 years' time, we can all look at this and say, the work that was done over those 3 days have set us up and the community to be much better, at a much better place than what they already are, given they're already in a good place. So, we're really looking forward to the next 4 years.